Dr. Philip Melanson is the director of the RFK Assassination Archives at the University of Massachusetts, and he has investigated these reports.
To date, there have been 4 witnesses whose accounts seem credible to me, who have talked about seeing a man in plain clothes with a gun in the pantry. And 3 of those 4 witnesses allege that such a gun was fired in proximity to Kennedy.
Since there were no Secret Service men present in the pantry, these reports have sinister implications.
As Serrano stepped out and fired at the senator, as he was going down, I saw many guns being pulled out. And one gun was pulled out by a security guard, and it was fired. And that's what I saw.
The first policeman to arrive at the Ambassador Hotel after the shooting was Sergeant Paul Sharaga. As Sharaga moved through the parking lot, he encountered a severely distressed older couple.
I asked them what had happened, and the woman related that her and her husband were outside the embassy room when a young couple in their late teens or early 20s, the girl wearing a polka dot dress, came running by them shouting, "We shot him, we shot him, we killed him." And the older woman asked, "Who did you shoot?" And the young woman said, "Kennedy, we shot him, we killed him." And then the two of them ran off, just real happy, real joyful.
Shraga took the names and addresses of the couple he remembers as the Bernsteins and immediately put out an all-points bulletin on the 2 people they described. He wrote a report in triplicate with this information and sent it to headquarters. Shraga's APB would soon be canceled over his objections. His reports would vanish.
A couple of weeks later, I went to refer to him for one reason or another, and they were all missing. And I asked one of the day watch sergeants if he knew anything about it, and he stated that 2 SUS men had been there that day and cleaned out all the reports. I called them. They denied that they'd even been there. Then apparently they felt they had to make another report, and they made a false interview report which stated that they interviewed me, and I had retracted my statements about "we shot him" to "they shot him." I never was interviewed. I never contradicted my first 2 statements, but nevertheless, apparently they thought that the reports would not be scrutinized or subject to scrutiny. What they didn't count on, I guess, was the fact that I'd kept one of the reports myself, the original stencil copy.
But disappearing reports and canceled APBs were not the only oddities the evening of June 4th.
We lost complete radio communication for a period of 40 to 45 minutes. Something was very strange. It never happened before. At present, there's no question in my mind that elements of the CIA were involved. 2 of the officers, Lieutenant Pena and Hank Hernandez, and the LAPD had retired some years before and gone to work for a government agency that was later found to be front for the CIA. And then almost as if by magic, they showed up and were at the Emergency Control Center within a very short time after the assassination.
It's really interesting that Manny Pena is the one trying to shut that avenue down, because he's also the one that's directly connected to the CIA, and he was also the choke point of the investigation. There's a flow chart that shows kind of the routing of information through SUS, and it starts at this desk, and then it goes here, and then it goes here, and at some point it gets to Manny Pena's desk, and he has sole authority to determine what got further, investigated and what got shut down. And he had worked for AID, the Agency for International Development, which was a well-known CIA cover agency, providing cover to the CIA. And also, his brother was on TV saying how much Manny Pena enjoyed his years of service to the CIA. So it's pretty well established that, he was not just an LA police officer. He was a CIA operative. So very interesting that he would be in the catbird seat regarding the investigation of Robert Kennedy.
Sandra Serrano was a 20-year-old Kennedy campaign worker. She went to the Ambassador Hotel with a few friends on primary night. But after a while, she decided to get out of the heat and retreated to an exit staircase outside the hotel. At about 11:45, she claimed 3 people, a woman and 2 men, one of whom she would later identify as Serrano, pushed by her on the staircase and went into the hotel. About a half hour later, she said the same woman and one of the men came running down the stairs. The woman seemed exuberant, and she and Serrano had a bizarre exchange of words, which Serrano described live on TV just a little while later.
I was standing there just thinking about how many people there were and how wonderful it was. Then this girl came running down the stairs in the back, and said, "We've shot him, we've shot him." And I says, "Who did you shoot?" And she says, "We shot Senator Kennedy." She had on a white dress with polka dots. She was light-skinned, dark hair. She had black shoes on. A boy came down with her. He was about 23 years old, and he was Mexican-American, because I can remember that because I'm Mexican-American.
The man that I interviewed on that tape was named John Fahey. He claims to have spent the day with a girl who later became known as the girl in the polka dot dress. This girl predicted the killing of Senator Kennedy not only as to the date, but to the exact occasion on which it would occur. A team of investigators composed of Jordan Bonfanti, bureau chief for Life magazine in Los Angeles, and myself set out to verify the story of John Fahey. We were fortunate enough to be able to confirm an important portions of that story. We further went on and gave the man a polygraph test, a lie detector test, on which the man passed with flying colors. The description given by Fahey of this woman was so detailed that we were able to get a police artist to make a composite. This portrait was later on shown to Vincent DiPiero. Vincent DiPiero had seen the girl in the polka dot dress a few minutes prior to the shooting in the company of Serrano. He immediately identified the girl in the polka dot dress in our portrait as being the girl that was with Serrano. Now, that girl's description was identical to the description given by many people.
She was tall, statuesque, black hair, well built. I did notice that. I remember that she had on a polka dot dress.
There were a lot of witnesses to Serrano's behavior at the Ambassador Hotel that night, and many of the witnesses saw him seemingly in the company of a young, attractive woman. And that would happen in the ballroom, and others would say it happened in the pantry just before the shooting, and at different places during the evening.
I saw Serrano and a lady and another gentleman consistently throughout the evening. There was a girl in a black and white dress involved with Serrano.
In the weeks that followed, Serrano was questioned repeatedly by police. Her phone rang constantly. Her house was broken into. On June 20th, Serrano was told to come down to headquarters and asked to submit to a polygraph test given by Sergeant Enrique Hernandez, the same Hank Hernandez that Sergeant Schraga complained had so mysteriously returned from overseas employment. Although almost all tapes of witness interviews were lost or destroyed by the LAPD, a tape of Serrano's session has somehow survived. The interview begins in a normal enough fashion. Hernandez explains that the LAPD desires to conduct a thorough investigation and wants to leave no stone unturned. He asked Serrano several different times whether she was telling the truth about the night of the murder. Serrano answers in the affirmative. But then the formal questions end and the session takes a very strange turn.
Sandy, I'm not going to ask you any more questions. Not a single one. I do want to talk to you like a brother. Look, I presume, I don't know if I relate to anyone. I'm Catholic. Are you Catholic?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Does that mean that you don't practice? Alright, okay, here's the thing. You're an Italian young girl. You know that for some reason this was made up. So here's what you have to think about right now, is that I think you owe it to Senator Kennedy, the late Senator Kennedy, to come forth, be a woman about this. If he, and you don't know, and I don't know whether he's a witness right now in this room watching what we're doing in here, don't shame his death by keeping this thing up. I have compassion for you. I want to know why. I want to know why you did what you did. This is a very serious thing.
I've seen those people.
No, Sandy. Remember what I told you about that? You can't say you saw something when you didn't see it. Sandy, look, I can explain this to the investigators where you don't even have to talk to them, and they won't talk to you. I can do this. But I know that as you get older, One of these days, you're going to be a mother. You're going to be a mother, you're going to have kids, and you know that you can't live a life of shame knowing what you're doing right now is wrong.
So I'm doing that same wrong?
Well, maybe you don't feel it, but when you get older, you will. But please, in the name of Kennedy.
I don't want to know the name of Kennedy. I'm going to get it, right?
If you know that this is wrong, I mean, Sandy, you know that this is wrong. You might want to be pushing it out with a smirk on your face, with a smile, but you know that deep inside what you have done.
I remember seeing a girl.
No, I'm talking about what you have told here about saying a person tell you we have shot Kennedy, and that's wrong. No, it isn't, Sandy. Please, don't have the house to hurt. Look, I love this man, and you're shaming he is right now, he can't even. Well, I'm trying not to shout, but this is a very emotional thing with me too, you see. Are you afraid right now, Sandra?
Huh?
Are you afraid?
No, I don't like this.
I know you don't.
I'm afraid. I just don't like it.
No, you're afraid. Are you afraid right now, Sandra?
Huh?
Are you afraid?
No, I don't like this.
I know you don't.
I'm afraid. I just don't like it.
No, you're afraid.
They were berating her, badgering her, thinking of little tricks to throw her off.
Well, he put words in her mouth. He literally put the words in her mouth. And she finally broke down under the intense pressure.
As we begin to hear from these edited excerpts, Hernandez is giving a solo rendition of Good Cop, Bad Cop, showing a patronizing concern for Serrano on the one hand and menacing her in subtle ways on the other. Serrano, one must remember, was merely a witness. She was not a person accused of a serious crime, clinging to a flimsy story with the hope of escaping punishment. She had no reason to invent such a story, but more important, the LAPD's own All Points Bulletin, from a separate source, describes the very people and the conversation Serrano was reporting. Nevertheless, Hernandez keeps attacking. The promise is that if she changes her story, the questioning will end. The threat is to publicly denounce her as a liar and to continue the interrogations.
Now, you see what happens? There's two ways to approach this thing.
Right.
The first one is for me to appeal to you as a decent woman that campaigns for Senator Kennedy.
Right.
This is the one way I can approach. The other way is for me to fold up the paper, go out here and tell these people, have them tell whatever they're going to tell upstairs. And this is the wrong way because, look, I have to look at myself. When I shave in the morning, I look at myself.
Right.
And right now I have my deepest compassion for you because you're a young lady.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try to do whatever I believe is best for you. What's best for you?
Well, there was this girl coming. She was coming downstairs and she said, we shot. No, this girl in a polka dot dress, a white dress, polka dot.
Don't. It's like a disease. I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you.
It says I've never even seen a girl with a polka dot dress.
I'm saying that nobody told you we have shot Kennedy.
Yes, somebody told me that we have shot
No.
I'm sorry, but that's true. That is true.
Look, one of these days you're going to be 27 years old, 28 years old. What kind of a person?
It's a whole mess of things.
What's that going to be?
Well, it's too messed up. Even I can't even remember what happened anymore.
Well, number one, you know that nobody told you we have shot Kennedy.
No, somebody told me we had shot Kennedy.
No, nobody told you. Where did they tell you this, Sandy?
Outside.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sandy, like I say, don't be.
Well, I'm not going to say, I truly believe somebody told me, and I'm not going to say, no, nobody told me just to satisfy anybody else.
No, just the truth to satisfy yourself. No one else.
Yeah.
To satisfy the family, the remaining family of this. The Kennedys have had nothing but tragedy here since the first President Kennedy, now Senator Bobby Kennedy. Now what next? They have enough. At least it's a consolation to them. And I'm certain, and you mark my words, that one of these days, if you're woman enough, you will get a letter from Ethel Kennedy, personal, thanking you for at least letting her rest on this aspect of this investigation.
Somebody told me that, honest. No, really.
No, look, Sandy, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I want you to tell me the truth about the staircase. Nobody in that staircase, what you're telling me here, told you that we have shot Kennedy.
A woman told me we had shot Kennedy.
Where did she tell you this?
Outside.
Outside where?
believe I was on the staircase.
You say I believe I was on the staircase?
Sure.
I mean, look, a half lie is as much as a lie because there are no half lies.
Yeah, I was on the stairway. And that's what she said.
Sandy, look, you're basically a decent person.
Thanks.
You're basically a decent person. But here you are, you're 20 years old. This is going to change your whole life in here. You're growing real fast in this room right now because you know that you have to make a decision to tell what's truthful, what's honest, what's right. No, you can't say that.
I can go.
You can't say it with your lips, you can say it, but with your feeling, your heart, your soul, you've told me here. These are lies. This story is a lie. This didn't happen.
As we listen to excerpts from the last 20 minutes, we hear Serrano begin to wear down. Sergeant Hernandez senses her exhaustion and in his patronizing manner begins his endgame.
How come you're making yourself suffer like this?
I'm not making myself suffer. I'm not suffering. Leave me alone.
The only time that you will be left alone, and I can tell you right now, you tell me what happened out there, and I can assure you that nobody else will.
I don't know what happened. To tell you the truth, I don't know what happened. I don't know really what happened. Everything is such a mess.
Well, think about it, Sandy.
I thought about it over and over and over and over in my head, and over and over and over and over. And I don't know. I can remember somebody, in my mind, I can remember somebody who said this to me. I can remember crying and crying and crying, and I can remember saying, oh, they told me we shot him. I can remember saying that, and then before I know, like, oh, you see two people? Oh, they were coming. Where were you at? I was outside. Did you see them run? Yeah. You know, the whole big mess. Oh, I don't know. They messed me up. And I knew all along they were messing me up. They messed me up so bad. It's not that I was telling you all lies. It's not the truth. I wasn't telling you all lies because somebody did tell me.
Well, they told you Kennedy has been shot, or they shot Kennedy, or he shot Kennedy. Then the policeman started questioning you. The next thing it was two people. The next thing it was a woman in a white and black polka dot dress. And before you know it, there they are. Sure, I can see where you got messed up.
Yeah, but look what's happened. You think
What's happened?
This whole thing has got out of proportion.
Well, we're going to stop it right now, aren't we? Finally, Sandy. We're going to stop it right now, and I'm going to go see if we can get a stenographer to come up and take a statement and stop it right now.
Hernandez finally gets his way. After over an hour of agonizing confrontation, he leads Serrano through a series of questions where she ultimately agrees to having been, quote, messed up. At the time Kennedy was murdered, Robert Houghton was chief of detectives for the Los Angeles police. It was under his direction that Special Unit Senator would be formed to investigate the crime. Special Unit Senator was also the title of Houghton's 1971 book, written to explain to the American people what really happened in the Robert Kennedy killing. Under the safe cover of official secrecy, Chief of Detectives Houghton would be able to quote with satisfaction from Sandra Serrano's recantation, never having to mention all that preceded it. Special Unit Senator closed the vexing case of the polka-dot dress girl, says Houghton proudly in his book. In police work, for lack of a better word, we say a witness was contaminated.